God morgen, god ettermiddag, god kveld, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers and listeners. We are broadcasting live from Oslo, Norway, Ecclesiastical District of Northern Europe. I'm Andre Padarasho.
I'm Judicel Palerasio.
And I'm brother Calvin Derek Palerasio.
And welcome to INCRadio,
Northern Europe Satellite Studio.
Yes, today is the 20th of July here in Norway, here in Oslo, and it is currently 9 p.m. Central European Summer Time.
Yes, back there in the Philippines, where you might be watching, it's already Monday, July 21 at 3 a.m. Philippine time. So if you're watching this live, enjoy, take some coffee because we have an hour broadcast left. So it'll go up to 4 a.m. Philippine time. So we're excited to have you all here today because our topic, we call this career talk, is very, very interesting. A few weeks ago, we had a topic for the young members about their dream job. So we figured this would be a nice follow up to do. So we have the pros with us, those who work in specific fields who you might be in, who might interest you. So we'll actually introduce them right now, right?
Okay, we're so excited to get to know them today and their jobs. Okay, let's start with Janet from Sweden. Hello.
Hello. Good kväll. Good evening. I'm Janet Waller from the local of Lund, Sweden. I'm a deaconess, finance officer, scan officer, and CFO officer in our locale and in our district. And I'm also the president of CMDPS in our district. And CMDPS stands for Christian Medical, Dental, and Paramedical Society, which is a network of church members from the allied health professions. And the purpose of this society is to organize free medical, dental, and other health missions in our district. And in connection to that, I'm a registered nurse currently working at the hematology ward in Kristianstad Hospital here in Sweden. And we specialize in different types of blood diseases, including blood cancers. And apart from patient care, I'm also involved in instructing and mentoring students and also supervising new nurse employees and other healthcare professionals. And I'm also one of those responsible for educating and CPR for healthcare professionals.
There you go.
Wow, we can't wait to hear more about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Janet. Now we'll go to our next guest, which is Lars.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lars Trapp. I'm a head deacon in the local of Stockholm, Sweden, and I work as a watchmaker.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so that's a very, not a
Yes.
lot of people might have that as their first thing that they think
First
of,
thought,
right?
yeah,
So it's very interesting, and we'll see. We have some photos to show as well. So I'm very excited for that. Next up, we've been to Sweden. We're here from Norway. Let's go to our neighboring Scandinavian country. Let's go to Denmark. And who do we have here?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me again here at INCRadio. My name is Diane Lorido. I am a choir member as well as a children's worship service teacher in the local congregation of Copenhagen, Denmark. My current profession is in project management for a telecommunications company. So in a nutshell, working in a project management field means that you work with a team to achieve a specific goal. So for our company, in the telecommunications industry, we build cell sites. So those towers that give you signal. So my team and I are very involved from that process from the start to finish. So starting from finding a good location for a cell site tower, to working with engineers very closely for designs and plans, to getting permits approved by the county, as well as working with in collaboration with the construction team to make sure that the site is actually built in a timely manner. And then once the site is operational, then we prepare the final report. So basically, being in the project management team, you connect the dots to make sure that the overall goal is completed in a timely and successful manner. Thank you so much.
Wow, and we look forward to hearing more about your work as well. And but we have one last guest with us,
Okay,
and
we have Felix um, from Norway. Hello.
Hello, good evening, good morning, everyone. I'm Felix Zamora from Store, Norway. And my church duties are the following. I am a group worship overseer and a deacon, a TSV officer, and a chronicler also here in Store, Ecclesiastic District of Northern Europe. Thank you so much for having me here. And I work as structural method engineer in the oil and gas industry, and also occasionally perform field engineering. My role involves creating lifting and surfacing plans for large modules and sometimes supporting those plans on site during execution.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so excited to hear more about all of your careers because apart from they're all different, but they're all very interesting and so exciting to talk about.
yeah, and definitely. So just a quick summary for our viewers and listeners. We have someone in project management. We have a nurse. So if you're interested in healthcare field in general, we have one guest here. We have a watchmaker with us. So it's a very creative, but also we can say
Yes.
precise field of work. And speaking of precise, we also have an engineer with us. So
Wow.
wide range of different fields we have here. So again, I just want to thank all the panelists for accepting our invitation and are willing to share more about their work. Now, to all you dear viewers and listeners, if you are interested, and just stay tuned, and we will hear different tips, the pros and cons, and stuff like that. Or if you're even more interested in sharing your field, you want to share what your profession is, make sure to answer the topic questions as well in the comment section. We're really excited to hear the different professions of the brethren in the District of Northern Europe and all the viewers and listeners outside our district as well. So we're looking at the live chat. Keep commenting, but even better if you comment as an answer to our topic question, which we'll go through now. So we've talked about the different professions of the guests, but how did they get there, right? What inspired them?
Okay, so let's start with Janet. What inspired you to choose a nurse as your career?
Yeah. When I was a little girl, I lived with my lolo and lola, and my lolo often said that when I grow up, I should become a nurse. I didn't know why he kept saying that, but I remember I once tried to care for our sick puppy and giving it medicine, caring for it, and hoping for it to get better. So I think unconsciously, already then, I had the desire to provide help and care, to give comfort and even save lives. And then when I got older, I also understood that the constant need for healthcare services is always there and it is increasing. And a nursing career offers a variety of job opportunities, and it also gives stability and job security. So right now, I'm currently working in a hospital and I love it. But I could also choose working, for example, at clinics, nursing homes, and home for healthcare if I want to. Yeah, but I'm not there yet.
Wow, that's amazing. You're one of those people who help in saving lives. So that's a very heartwarming thing. And you also said that you're able to choose where to work, right? So that's a very interesting thing. So you don't just stay in, you don't have to just stay in one place, but you can go to other places to work in. So wow, very interesting and such a great career choice. Thank you, Janet.
I want to ask Lars, since you're a watchmaker, the same question actually, because that's really unique if you ask me, right, Brother Andre?
Yeah.
Because you
So
don't
excited
really
to
hear
hear.
that often,
Yeah.
watchmaker. So, Lars, what inspired you, or what inspired you to choose this career?
Yeah, it's like when I was a child, my parents they were always a little angry at me because I pick apart all the appliances, and especially everything that had a small mechanics, just to learn how it worked. And I always liked doing small things like building models, but a dream was become a watchmaker. So in 1994, when I was 16 years old, I started my study in the watchmaker school, and I've worked as a watchmaker now for 25 years.
So since you were a kid, Lush, you've always been curious in how things work, right?
Yes.
And
Right.
you mentioned when you were 15, you studied watchmaking.
Yeah, 16.
16. Wow, that's
Wow,
that's really
very,
early.
yes,
Yeah.
very interesting.
I didn't know that you can go to school to study watchmaking.
Yeah,
You have a school in Norway.
I didn't know.
it's amazing.
That's interesting, bro.
Yes, in
Mm.
25 years of being a watchmaker, right?
Yes,
That
correct.
is an amazing thing.
Yeah, so um, we will get back to you, Lars, because we have so many more
Yeah.
questions. But let's also ask Diane the same question. What inspired you to get into project management?
So, Andrea, it's actually interesting because I actually didn't plan to be in this career path. In fact, I hadn't even heard of project management until I stumbled upon the position. So when I was 19 years old, I started my first job at a telemarketing company, and it was only supposed to be like the seasonal 2 to 3 months job. But before my contract ended, I saw that they posted a job opening, and it's for assistant to project manager. And I was young, and at the time I didn't have a college degree yet. I didn't have any job experience other than that. And so I think that actually worked in my favor because I thought I had nothing to lose. So I applied for the job, and surprisingly, with God's help, I got the position. And that was like basically my introduction to project management. But what inspired me to stay in the role and kept going to the same project management role is I actually fell in love with, uh, I love problem solving is a big part of project management. I like being a part of a team and the point person that connects everything together and seeing the big picture come together. So instead of just working on one specific task, I can see the big picture, like how things work. And I truly enjoyed that. And since then, I've worked in different fields. So same role as in project management, but I've worked at a telemarketing firm, a market research firm. I've also worked at a biotech company, and now in telecommunications as well as technology. So that inspired me to keep on going. I didn't know what project management was until I was in it, but things happen for a reason, and surprisingly, I ended up liking it, and so I stayed doing it.
Indeed. So that's so interesting, and that's also a cool thing that you mentioned that the project management. Like you use the word project. There's different projects all around. So if you're looking for that, always wanting something new, something changed. That's also
Mm.
you have new environments all the time, as Diane mentioned. So that's great.
Wow. So let's move on to Felix. What about you? What inspired you to choose your career as an engineer?
Actually, during my high school, I want to be a mechanical engineer. And when I enrolled in college, my friends and actually my brother also and I told me that he wants me to become a civil engineer. So during the time, I continue my studies in civil engineering. And then I landed during in the world of um, career. I first worked actually as a petrochemical plants. We design and we build 3D. And then I have opportunity also to have field engineering works in. And then we have also opportunity to work in oil and gas industry in EPSO and FLNG. Um, and now here in Stored, I actually as structural method engineer. So I've always been passionate about engineering and design, seeing how massive industrial structures are built and how every detail matters really inspired me to pursue this path. I wanted to be part of something that combines creativity with real-world problem solving. The combination of technical design and real-world execution inspired me. I enjoyed solving engineering problems and seeing results in the field where everything must work safely and efficiently. Yeah.
Wow, very interesting to hear. And I'm sure that, of course, because as you were talking, I can see how passionate you are. And of course, why choosing a career that you're so passionate about is really important, because for you to be, motivated and to enjoy working, you have to be really passionate, like Alex.
Yes, and actually everyone, right? I'm
Yes.
I'm so surprised to hear that, because I know a lot of people who, they work at their field, but that wasn't really their initial dream. But you have Lars here, who since he was young, and then when he was 16, he entered the school for watchmaking. So
Yeah.
he really followed his dream. The same with Lars and with Janet, who had her grandparents to inspire her. And even if that wasn't their initial plan, for example, with Diane,
Yeah.
she was just curious and interested, and she landed on that job, and it led to other development as well, and now she's here living the dream as well. So that's a good takeaway for all of viewers and listeners. If there's something you're interested in, especially for the young people who still are studying at school, finishing like primary school or even high school, who are not yet sure what they want to do, uh, you know, for their career. What about your dream? Do you have a dream job? And here you have the examples of people who follow their dreams. And same thing with you as well, right, Judy? If you want to talk about your your career as well.
I believe also, if you're not sure what you want yet, you can try out, try doing this kind of career. And if you don't like this type of career, you can always change and find which one you enjoy the most. Yes.
Yeah. So especially like if there's a way to try it out without having to go all in, like in like taking that course, like if you can take a summer internship, or even just ask around and ask people who actually work in that field, just some questions you're curious about, so you can get more clarifications, right? So we've talked about their careers. What's the best part? What's the best part of their jobs, right? Shall we ask that
Yes,
next?
Janet, what's the best part of your job?
And we have some
Yeah.
pictures there as well. Yeah. So while you talk, Janet, we'll showcase the picture there.
Okay.
Very.
There are many factors that make my job the best. The most rewarding part is the ability to make a difference in people's lives. And apart from caring for the patients, I also create a bond with them and their families, and offering comfort and support during the lowest or toughest moments, and also being able to witness the patient's journey to recovery is very rewarding. And as a supervisor and mentor naman, I get the opportunity to influence the future of our nurse students, and also our new nurse employees. And hopefully, by sharing my knowledge, I get to inspire them, to help them gain the confidence needed for them to be able to grow in their new role. And as a CPR instructor, I have the ability to contribute to safer healthcare, improving patient outcomes. So whether I'm with a patient, a nurse student, a nurse, a new nurse colleague, or other healthcare professionals, for me, every meeting is unique, and it gives me opportunities to handle different challenging situations, which help me grow in my different roles.
Wow, that's great to hear. It's so inspiring to hear from you and your perspective in nursing and other things that are involving nurse, and because I'm not really sure about it, but obviously my mom's a nurse, but it's very interesting to hear how it's like to work in that field. And I love how you were able to just, help others as well, like such as you said, students, guiding them and everything. So it's great to hear that. Thank you so much.
How about you, Lars? What's the best part of your job? Because when I think about watchmaking, I think about, because you're working with small mechanical parts. I
You
think
get
about,
nervous just
yeah,
thinking
you
about
get
it.
nervous about thinking about it. In your
Yes.
experience,
Yeah, because I love my work because always see new things to learn, new techniques, because the industry is changing always. So always something new to teach. You can go on courses, for example, new complications, and also the big satisfaction is when you get in a watch that's totally broken, the water damage, rust, everything. There maybe a buster drove over it, and you can restore it until like new condition. Takes a lot of time, but you really sit down, work with it. You can
how
really
long does it normally take to restore a broken watch?
a broken watch, like the normal service, is about 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yes, approx.
That's with completely new parts, or you completely restore the.
Yeah, we change the parts that are damaged, for example, need changes, and we also do polishing of cases,
Yeah,
take away all the scratches, get new surface.
Wow, we
yeah,
saw
I
we
can
saw
see
in the
the
image.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, the images being shown now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you were like, is that like to really zoom in and see
Yeah.
almost like
Magnifying.
Oh yeah,
there
that
we
one.
go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it's so interesting to hear those things because, we just buy watches.
Yeah, like it's sometimes you even think that,
You
oh,
don't
that's probably made
appreciate
by a
the.
machine, but like especially like you see, I love the watches where you also see like when you flip it and you
Oh,
see
you see
like
how
the
it works.
case
Yeah, yeah.
that's in transparent.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see all the small tiny details
Yeah.
and the like the complication that's so amazing, thinking that wow, a human
Yes.
being like really
Mm-hmm.
fine-tuned and put this together. It's amazing. So props to you, Lausa. It's so impressive. And you've done that for 25 years now.
That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
That's
It must be very enjoyable,
yeah, 25.
Yes.
That's my age right now. I'm 25 years, so imagine living each year of my life, doing something I really enjoy, and yeah, I look forward to that. Finishing my studies and going on to the work life. How about you, Dan? What's the best part of working in project management?
So there are actually many things that I like about my job and I appreciate about it. First is the potential for growth because they're constantly learning and evolving. So you learn a great deal. And to be honest, you can use that in many other aspects of your life. Another thing I really appreciate about my job is the nature of it. So the flexibility. So I've actually been working remotely even before the pandemic started. So back then when I was still living in the US, so I actually love camping. So I would go to these campsites, make sure that they still either have signal or Wi-Fi, and to make sure I'm still connected and can still work. So, and now I've even went even further and tried a different country. So I moved out of the US, and earlier this year I moved to South Korea. I lived there as well and was able to continue working. And now I'm here in Denmark. So, but really the ability to travel while having this job, it's just a bonus. The best part really of my job, in my opinion, is it's never hindered me in the performance of my duties. In fact, it gave me more time to be able to do the things that matter to me most. So I also realized that I was able to apply the skills that I use for work and performing my duties in the church, such as leading activities in the Christian Family Organization or CFO activities. And because in the same way, it's like looking at the big picture. So, you get involved in the beginning part of it, whether you're still brainstorming for different activities, to planning and how to make it, to delegating tasks to the members of the church or the other officers, to actually doing the activity itself, and then to until the very end of the activity. So it's basically like project management. So if you're interested in, if you already do this in the church and you're interested in trying this role, this might be the sign to pursue this if you're ever interested. So for me, the best part of my job is really using my God-given skills to serve Him.
That's a
Oh,
great sales pitch. I'm sold. If I could,
Agreed.
if I could redo my studies, I'd
Help
go,
me.
I'd go into that. It's so
Yes.
interesting, and we saw the photos as well. Like you were camping, but you were also at work at the same
Amazing.
time. That's
Mhm.
amazing. So, for everyone who are interested in remote work, right, or like things that where you don't have to be in the actual place where you have to work. That's one of the benefits in project management. And I really love what you said about like it how your work has not hindered you but even gave you more time to perform your duties inside the church. And also the fact that the skills you develop in project management are applicable to your performance in the duties. So that's all things. It just sounds all positive, right? And
Yes.
it's very good. And you're a children. You work with children, the children's worship service as well as a teacher. I'm pretty sure that that also helps, right, in communicating, being able to communicate with the children better and teach them effectively. So thank you for sharing that, Dan.
And it's great. Also, let me comment. It's such a great thing to have perks in your in your job, such as being able to travel. Because when I used to do theater, I loved being able to be in a different country and to meet brethren as well. So
Yeah.
it's very inspiring to meet brethren from all over the world. I wish I could do it all the time. Yes.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
a comment here from
Yeah.
Francesca Heiskanen from Lund. She's like, I feel like I should go into project management. She just messaged me that. That wasn't a comment, but I'll read it anyways.
She'll be
Speaking
perfect.
of comment, we have more comments from Selena Bolander saying, I used to volunteer to teach every summer as well for night school for alternative learning system. Worked as an English teacher as well, way back in the Philippines because being a teacher is my dream job. And we have a comment from Olive from Russia saying, wow, interesting job, brother. Watchmaker with a heart.
Wow, that's amazing.
But
Anymore.
I want to ask that as well to
Felix.
Felix, right? What's the best part of being an engineer, specifically in your field, like in oil and gas industry?
As Diane mentioned, one of the best part actually she mentioned about travel. Actually, that's also the best part happened to me because when I was working in Cebu in Philippines, uh, I was uh, I was also had chance to travel in Japan for a model review, and then after that one, I was also sent to Singapore for the field engineering works. And as you can see from the picture, and then I was also when I was working also in Malaysia, I have also a chance to travel in Korea for the field engineering also for that particular project. It's FLNG project. The one that you are currently seeing is this is my present job here in Stored, and that's a nice thing that uh, you enjoyed working and you also enjoy traveling around the world. And the best part is seeing my method plans successfully applied in real life operations. When I'm on site as field engineer, I can see the direct impact of my work and contribute to problem solving on the spot. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds so amazing. Aside from, of course, traveling to Japan, to Singapore. Wow,
All our dream destinations.
what a dream destination. But you get to do what you love the most, of course, engineering and problem solving. I can
Traveling
really,
as well.
yes, traveling
Traveling
all
at the
in
same
one.
time.
Wow. What can you say about it?
Yeah, and I'm studying like electrical engineering, and my cousin here, Derek, is like in
Yes.
electrical engineering. So hearing the perks from a fellow engineer there is it makes it sound like maybe I want to try going into that field as well, right? So
And
We also want to hear how long have you been working in that career, Felix?
actually, I started working way back 2005, so I think it's almost 20 years.
20 years.
Wow,
20 years.
amazing.
Almost 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but on top of that also, I didn't forget about my church duties. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Very well
we
said, brother.
agree.
and meeting brethren from
From
different parts of the world, from
yes,
Japan, right, Singapore.
Yeah, that's what you meant about traveling, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Being able to meet brethren while doing what you love, also doing your church duties is the best blessing that God gives. You know.
Now we've all talked about, very all the fun parts, very fun, but it could also be fun, but also challenging. So let's go back around. Let's ask, what's the most challenging part of your job? And team live chat, if you also want to share the most challenging part of your job, please comment in the live chat section below. We'll be happy to read your comments as well.
Okay, Janet, let's go to you. What's the most challenging part of your job?
Uh, oh, um, I face many challenges in one day when I'm on duty. But one thing is being professional in every situation. Uh, a challenge could be as simple as when a patient refuses to take medications. That is already a challenge. Or when a nurse student doesn't understand anything, though I've been explaining it so many times. That's challenging. But when it comes to patient care, the most challenging, I'd say, would be, for example, when a patient has severe suffering, or when the patient and the family have severe emotional distress, or when I witness death and the family is devastated and there's nothing I can do but to try to give comfort and support. But in reality, I'm also trying to manage my own emotions. Even though I want to cry with them, I can't. I shouldn't. Yeah, it's okay to empathize and show emotions, but um, uh, not too much, because I am the one expected to give comfort. And from that scenario, the next minute, I could be entering another scenario with a patient who is very happy because he just found out that he has recovered from a disease. So switching from one emotion to the next within minutes, I found that very challenging. And the other thing, when it comes to my other roles, I find that time management is a challenge to attend to the needs of every nurse student or new nurse employee. Each of them may have different learning styles, so I need to have variety of teaching strategies. And when assessing them, each student is also very challenging. And also we have nursing shortage, so I am pressured to mentor and supervise more new nurse employees, which leads to increased workload and better time management for me. So it's every day is a challenge at work.
Yes, it is indeed a lot of challenges to have a career like yours. But as I can hear from you, you need a lot of patience, and I can see that you, Janet, is a very patient person, and that's quite hard to do sometimes.
And you also have to
Yes.
develop your emotional intelligence as well, because you need to know, what's the proper behavior in this scenario,
And how
right?
to handle
And how
different
yeah, and how
situations.
to react, right? So
Yes.
emotional intelligence as well, that's also very very important. And so shout out to all the nurses, shout out
Yeah.
to all the nurses.
Yes.
There's lots of nurses here in Norway, right? From of we know in the
In our
All over
our
us.
family
Yes.
and at church. So
And it's a
shout out.
great thing, to have a family in the nurse, to have a nurse in the family.
Yeah, 'cause,
Yes.
whenever we have activities, right, with
Yeah.
with our brethren and sisters inside the church, and something happens, all the nurses go into immediate action. Well, I'm still in shock. I'm
Yes.
like, What am I supposed to do? Well, they're already at work, so
Yeah.
so shout out once again to the nurses.
Yes, shout out to the nurses. Let's go to Lars. How about you, Lars? What's the most challenging part of your job?
Yeah, in watchmaking, because now watches can be very old also, vintage watches, and very hard to obtain spare parts. So you have to search all over the world,
Mm.
different suppliers. Otherwise, you need to make the parts yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
make the part yourself.
Oh, I'm curious, Lars. What's the most difficult part of repairing or assembling a watch?
The most difficult is the called is an oscillating spring. If you see in a watch movement, it's a very thin spring and in a spiral.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I have one in my watch.
That spiral can be a little bent like that, and it need to be perfect.
Wow, it does
So
sound
what's challenging about that? Because it springs.
Now it need to be the curves to go around like a spiral need to be perfect. If they can be little bent, they can go up or down. It needs to be flat and perfectly.
So
Yeah.
basically,
So-
there's no margin of error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no margin of error there. Oh,
So
wow.
then, no, it can be stressful also at work, especially if we have a lot of repairs. So you get time to. Otherwise, it's not so much struggle. So I love my work.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. And, it's so fun to hear that as well. That you never look at it like, oh, I'm so tired, like, because you
It's not
genuinely
stressful
enjoy it.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get nervous thinking about it. Like it's a small part that I can't even see, and I've worked my part-time work. I work in as a sales associate for an electronics company. Oftentimes customers ask if we have batteries to replace for a watch. So those like so it's not an automatic watch. So when they open it, like just replacing the battery, I get nervous. I get nervous putting the battery in, putting the old battery out, and the new battery in.
Mm.
So, and that's compared to what you work, that's already big. You can see it. So, shout out to the watchmakers. So shout out to all the watchmakers.
Mhm.
So before we go to Diane, there's actually a question here from a YouTube commenter actually from Mark Anthony Milia saying, "Can I apply to Diane's company? I'm also looking for work from home setup. They might be hiring in supply chain as I have work experience in that field. Hashtag Budapest, Hungary." So,
Wow.
we'll get back to you, Mark Anthony, and I'm sure Dan will answer that later on. You can contact her. But I also want to ask you that what was the most challenging part for your job?
Yeah, so I was going to say, despite the perks, so project management can be quite stressful, actually, because you're dealing with the whole project, and there are a lot of moving pieces, and you can plan meticulously, but things rarely work according to plan. So it could be a delay or like a budget cut, or just things don't work according to plan. So you have to be able to. It's like having to deal with unforeseen challenges all at the time. So project management can be quite stressful. I've certainly have high periods of stress, especially with my previous companies. Thankfully now with my current low, it's pretty much genuinely low to zero stress. So that's a great blessing. But for project management in general, it's dealing with those unforeseen issues because you plan, but they don't work according to your plan. So being able to stay calm and think quickly, use your problem solving skills, those skills will greatly help you so that you can be back on track. But not just solve those problems, you have to make sure that you communicate all of the time and in a timely manner to everyone involved in that project, whether it be the vendors, the clients, the engineers. There are a lot of people involved in the specific project. So it can be very stressful, like I said, but there are skills that can help you overcome those challenges.
Wow, like I have worked on different like smaller projects, not professional, like with activities with friends, or even like I consider it a project because like gathering all my friends who have all different schedules is like, wow, that's
Hard job.
like
Hardest part.
I like that you mentioned like dealing with things you planned your best, but there are still some things that happen. Delays happen. Like I'm wondering like how do you deal with, for example, because with me, if I do something, I postpone it. That's on me. That like I can really like it's my own fault. But like, what if you plan something and they say they'll deliver it, and then one day, oh, this happened. Like it's out of it feels like it's out of control, out of your control. Like I can see how that can be really stressful.
Mm.
But as Diane mentioned, use your problem solving skills. Try to somehow solve it. So yeah, very challenging. But I can see that also being very rewarding if that's something challenging happens, like an incident occurs, and you have a plan that you made, and that somehow solves it. That could feel so rewarding,
Mm.
right?
Yes. What about you, Felix? What's the most challenging part of your job?
Uh, One of the most challenging part is making sure that the design complies with strict industry codes and standards while being practical and cost effective, coordinating with different disciplines like mechanical or piping under tight deadlines can also be intense. And coordinating between office-based planning and field execution can be tough. Sometimes things go differently on site than expected, and you need to adjust quickly and still ensuring safety and compliance. Yeah, that's the most challenging part of the job.
Yeah, Felix. I'm also an engineer, but I work
Nice.
on testing components. I also work with components that are used to measure gas, different types of gas. But I'm not in the project
Yes.
management side, so I'm not
Okay.
really. But it really sounds interesting. I wish I could also try doing that in the field because I'm mostly inside
Yeah,
testing.
engineering is a vast
Yeah.
opportunity. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
up to you to choose who you want to be
I'm
to work with.
mostly inside.
Ah,
And he hasn't traveled yet for his job.
Yeah. But that's really interesting, Felix.
I can see it being very vast. I've heard of like package engineers, like their
Mm.
work is to how to most efficiently and properly pack a
Package.
product. Like
Oh,
wow, that's when I first heard it, I was like, wow, they really are everywhere. They
Yeah.
are the engineers. Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to Mila Malayao saying happy Monday po sa ating lahat watching from Isabela South, that's in the Philippines.
Oh,
So enjoy your coffee because it's very early in the
almost 4
morning.
a.m.
It's almost 4 a.m. there, Mila Malayao. So thank you for joining us. We have another comment from Peter Berg saying shout out to all the moms. Shout out, being a mom is a full-time job, no day
yes.
off. So
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
the
the
moms
moms
and the soon to be moms.
and the soon-to-be moms, right, Judy?
Like me. And shout out Sister Clarice and Sister Imani.
Shout out to all the dads as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're on
sure.
your side, not just the moms.
Yeah.
To the dads as well. Shout out to the dads. More people from outside our district. Charles Audric Gabante saying happy viewing po brethren. Greetings from Madrid, Norte,
wow.
Spain.
Hello, everyone in Spain, Madrid.
Shout out to all the Spanish viewers. So we've talked about the challenging parts of our jobs. So let's go deeper. What actually will help you succeed, right? What's the most important skill in your work? Right?
Yes, Janet, what's the most important skill in your work?
Aside from having the desire to help others, being caring, compassionate, and empathetic, a nurse should also have good communication skills, as advocacy is part of our job, being the patient's voice when they can speak for themselves. And a nurse should also have should also be good in problem solving, because we often encounter unexpected situations and we need to be able to think critically and find solutions quickly. And we should be organized, and we should be able to manage time effectively because between multiple patients, we also have other tasks and responsibilities. We should be adaptable and flexible to adjust to changing situations. And we should have a positive and lighthearted approach because it can help both patients and it can help us also cope with challenging situations. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's also great skills to have in everyday life, to have good communication. And the other thing that Janet said, it's also good to have those skills naturally in everything that you do.
It translates well. So shout out
Yes.
to my friends who are very good at time management. Shout out to Clarice and Felix Salazar. Chloe Salazar.
Yes. How about you, Lars? Yeah.
Speaking of
What
time management.
skills? What skills are the most important? in your
Yeah, I think it's patience. Because a lot can be problem solving, because sometimes the defects in a watch is not visible with the eye. So you need to really problem solving, find the problem in the watch. And it can take time, but very important to be stubborn and always eager to learn new things.
I like
Yeah.
the word stubborn. Like you're not giving up. I'm gonna keep
No,
until
exactly. Never give up.
I have a follow-up question for you, Lars. If say I want to be a watchmaker, or I'm curious, I want to be a watchmaker, but I don't have all the skills needed. What skill or which of those skills do you think is the hardest to teach? To teach me, for example.
I think everyone can learn this really, because it you need a steady hand, not shaking the hand. But that comes by time. Also, the is to see with the eye closed. It also comes by time.
Okay.
So it's interesting you say that that's actually a skill that you can learn to have steadier hands.
Yes. When I started watchmaker school, I was shaking.
Yeah. So wow. So that's a great insight. So I never knew that.
Need to practice, Derek.
So I guess you could also say that with your experience as well, right? Getting more confidence as well and getting more calm. So that probably helps as well with like less shaking.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. How about Diane? What's the most important skills you need to have for project management?
So there's quite a few skills, but all of them are actually mentioned already by Janet. So they're pretty similar. So first is communication, because of course you're like the central hub for information, and you're constantly communicating with the engineers, your client, your team members. So you have to be able to communicate effectively and in a timely manner. Second is organizational skills. You have to be organized and attention to detail as well, because you're tracking constantly the entire project cycle. You're tracking, so the budget you have to track, the deadlines, make sure that everything is done on time, like the budget I said, and the deadline and the tasks. Next is problem solving skills. So as mentioned earlier, it can be quite stressful dealing with unforeseen problems, so being able to think quickly and offer creative solutions will help you a great deal in project management. And lastly, I would say is being adaptable, because especially nowadays, technology changes all the time. Projects are dynamic, so you have to be able to adjust your plans accordingly based on these things that are changing every day.
So thank you so much for those tips, Diane. Now, how about you, Felix? In engineering, what skills do you need to have?
First and foremost, you need to have the knowledge on the software, because we are using, actually before we are going to design, we are using 3D modeling software to make sure that there's no clash on it. And then so you need to have a model checking with other discipline, just like piping, instrument, and equipment. And as what Diane and Janet mentioned, good communication with site teams. Also, that's very important. And adaptability during field execution, as what Dayan mentioned also. So that's very important. And you need to have a teamwork. Yeah, that's the most important is a teamwork.
There we go. And it's funny you mentioned that. Like, Diane mentioned that. Oh, you have to be great at communicating. Like, we have to communicate with engineers, and then we have an actual engineer saying that. Yeah, you need to be good at communicating. So it's like it goes both ways.
Yeah,
Those in project management, they need to communicate well to the engineers. The engineers need to respond well as great as well. So
Yes.
it's like a full circle moment.
And I believe these skills that you all mentioned, we are able to all learn them in, no matter how long it will be to be able to learn them. I believe all of us have them naturally. Some of them, and they're very easy to learn in time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then like mastering it really like it comes
It's
through
time,
your comes through
yes.
experience. So speaking about patience and time management. Speaking about time management, dear viewers and listeners, we're running out of time, but we have more segments to come. We have our fun little Let's Learn segment where we showcase some translation between word and from a language in our countries, specifically this time Norwegian. So let's go to our next segment. Let's learn Norwegian.
God morgen, god ettermiddag, god kveld, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Let's Learn Norwegian. Our topic is about career, so we're going to be translating some common words related to career talk into Norwegian. Let's go, let's go. For our first word, career. In Norwegian, that is karriere. Karriere. Our second word, profession. In Norwegian, that is yrke. Yrke. What is employee in Norwegian? In Norwegian, that is ansatt. Ansatt. How about workplace? In Norwegian, that is arbeidsplass. Arbeidsplass. How about experience? In Norwegian, that is erfaring. Erfaring. When you're at work, you're developing your skills. What is skills in Norwegian? That is ferdigheter. Ferdigheter. And of course, to get those skills, you need training. In this context, training in Norwegian is opplæring. Opplæring. At work, you will also face challenges. Challenges in Norwegian is utfordringer. Utfordringer. But at work, there's also opportunity. Opportunity in Norwegian is mulighet. Mulighet. Last but not least, we need responsibility. Responsibility in Norwegian is ansvar. Ansvar. So those are some of the Norwegian words for our career talk. We truly hope that you've enjoyed and learned something new in our segment called Let's Learn Norwegian. Vi ses neste gang. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to INCRadio Northern Reply Studio. Truly hope you enjoyed that and you learned something new. And yeah, before we proceed with the shout out list, we just want to report some of the activities in the Christian family organizations here in the ecclesiastical district of Northern Europe. So our first activity, we have the finance special gathering. A special gathering and oath-taking of new officers of the finance department were conducted in the ecclesiastical district of Northern Europe, officiated by the brother Glenn Louis Barsabal from Minister of the Gospel. The gathering was held at the house of worship of the local of Budapest, Hungary, and connected through live video streaming were other places of worship in the district who have sworn an oath as new finance officers in their respective congregation. Through the preaching, the officers were reminded of the importance of the responsibilities and performance of their sacred duties, and this served as renewed inspiration and zeal to the brethren. The unity among the finance officers are further strengthened under the care of the church administration and the loving guidance of our Almighty God. So we see from the pictures, right? So very successful activity, and thank our Lord God for new officers in the church.
And another activity that we had here in Northern Europe, in the local of Copenhagen, Denmark, for the BINI and CWS, the illusion drawing activity. The members of the Church of Christ in this part of the world held an illusion drawing activity. Illusion drawings is known as optical illusions and are artworks that create the deceptive appearance of three-dimensional objects or spatial relationships on a two-dimensional surface. Great joy and excitement were truly manifested from the CWS and BINI members.
Yes, so truly we see all the different fun activities, right? So shout out to the church administration for allowing us to have such various activities in the district. Now, again, we want to thank all our viewers and listeners for tuning in, and especially to the panelists who were willing to give their insight on their work. So before we say goodbye to them, perhaps they have any shout outs, right?
Yes, Janet, what's your shout outs?
Shout out to my family who is watching, and my friends, and all the brethren in Lund, Sweden. Good evening sa lahat, and thank you for having me.
How about you, Lars? Go ahead.
Yes, to my family, my lovely wife Rhea, my kids William, Andrea, and Albin. Also, everyone in the local of Stockholm, Skanstull, Nynäshamn, and Arboga. Also, our head deacon Rudy Fernandez, and all the deacons and deaconesses. And also to our resident minister, Rona Pineda, and also to our district minister, Mr. Balsita.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lars and Janet. How about you, Diane? Any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to my family in San Diego, California, to my friends in Seattle, Washington, as well as the brethren from Daegu, South Korea, and the brethren here as well in Copenhagen, Denmark. Thank you once again for having me here on INCRadio, Northern Europe.
Thank you much.
Thank you. And let's go to Felix.
I want to shout out my beautiful wife, Vanessa Zamora, who is currently watching right now, and brethren here in store, Canalisa, Camarisel, and brethren there in Hogison, Brother Bernard, and our recent minister in Stavanger, Brother Paolo Gorin, and their brethren there also, and lastly, Brother Visar Bolsit, our district minister. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us, Felix. So we want to thank all our viewers and listeners, our guests in the panel, to our technicians, Kuya Pong, Kuya Irene in the Philippines. Thank you to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for having programs such as this. To our deputy executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. To our INC Media Productions section chief, Brother Montreal Boy, Brother Wally Taray, our INC radio station manager, and assistant INC radio station manager, Brother Jeff Rivera.
And of course, our district supervising minister, Brother Visar E. Balsita, and our CFO overseer, Brother Oliver Nagy. Thank you so much.
And once again, this has been INC Radio Northern Europe Satellite Studio. You can catch us live every Sundays at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central European Summertime, which is Monday, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Philippine time. So we truly hope to see you again next week on INC Radio. And we all hope that you have a blessed week moving forwards. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.